What's up guys, welcome back. As you can see, we have a little bit of a change in scenery, and that's because we're out here in my brand new outdoor kitchen. Who better to break in the outdoor kitchen with than my good friend Maciek. You guys probably know him as Grilling with Dad. We got a beautiful menu for you guys today. We're making some surf and turf, great tomahawk steak, some garlic butter shrimp. But before we get into the recipe, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. First things first, we gotta go ahead and get this grill fired up, and who better to do that than the grill expert himself.
Thanks so much, Matt. Excited to be here. Let's get this going. Today we're gonna be using the Big Green Egg. This is my favorite grill to use. It's charcoal, it's ceramic. This thing cooks hot and fast, low and slow, and it's gonna be perfect for our recipe today. To start it off, I'm gonna be using one of these starter cubes. So I'm gonna put this right inside the charcoal, light it up, and get it going. Next up, I'm gonna put in this plate setter. So this is gonna create an indirect cooking zone on the grill for our steak. So this goes right over the charcoal. The grate goes right on top. We're gonna bring this up to temperature to about 250 degrees. That's gonna take about 20-25 minutes, and it's gonna be ready for our steak.
All right guys, so we ran to my local Wegmans and grabbed this absolutely beautiful prime grade Tomahawk Ribeye. What are we gonna season this bad boy with?
This is one nice looking steak. You can see the beautiful marbling on the meat, that nice rib bone showing. So we're gonna go with a classic combo, one of my favorites. We'll hit it heavy with the AP rub.
I didn't pay him to say that, by the way.
It's really good. I mean, and you can see it's a thick steak, so it can handle the seasoning. So you wanna go heavy on all sides, and then we're also gonna add just a little bit of extra salt.
This is such a big cut of a steak.
AP is low sodium, so you can add a little bit extra salt. Flip that over and repeat on this side. Pat that in, you want to press it in. Again, a little bit extra salt. Now take your steak and just kind of roll it around to get the edges on everything that fell off. And that's kind of what you're going for. Nicely seasoned, nice thick layer of seasoning.
So about how long do you want it to sit after we get it seasoned before it goes on the grill?
I like to season this right after I fire up the Big Green Egg. That's gonna take about 20-25 minutes to come up to temperature, which will now allow the steak to start sweating, absorbing that seasoning, and getting that full flavor out of it. One last step before this goes on the grill, we're gonna hit it with just a little bit of olive oil right on top. Just gonna massage that in a little bit. This is gonna help create a nice crust while it's cooking.
Nice. Right here we got a nice sauce we're gonna pair this with too.
Oh yeah, this is a classic steak flavor, and we're gonna top it off with a homemade chimichurri, which is absolutely delicious. Like that, perfect.
All right, so now that we got the grill up to 250, I'm gonna give you a hand here. The smoke's smelling good.
Steak is ready to go on. So again, it's cruising nice and low, and we're gonna cook this steak until it's almost finished. And then at the end, we're gonna sear it off to create this beautiful crust on the outside. Now, if you're doing this at home and you don't have a grill or a Big Green Egg, you can do it in your oven, same temperature. The idea is to cook it nice, low and slow to get that nice, even cook in this thick steak. So close the lid and let this guy cook away.
All right, so word on the street is this guy right here has a world famous chimichurri sauce, and I'm excited to try it. What do you got for us today?
I'm excited to make it for you, Matt. So this is my go-to recipe. It's a great way to finish off your steaks. It's earthy, flavory, tangy. It's delicious. So let me show you how we're gonna do it. The recipe is super easy. So we've got some parsley, cilantro, salt, some roughly cut garlic, crushed red pepper. We're gonna add a little lemon bay for some extra flavor, red wine vinegar, and olive oil. First up, we've got cilantro. I'm gonna use about a half a bunch of it. Cut that right off, and I actually like to use the stems as well. That's where a lot of that cilantro flavor is in. So do the leaves and the stems, and just will give it a rough cut.
That's a good pro tip. I didn't know that about the stems.
Yeah, that's key for cilantro. If you like that cilantro flavor, be sure to cut up your stems.
For those of you that don't like the cilantro flavor, you can just double up on the parsley. I know there's some people that think cilantro tastes like dish soap.
Yeah, there's a percentage of population that can't stand cilantro, so just do parsley instead, and you should be good to go.
Yep.
Next up, we've got parsley. So I like to go about equal parts cilantro and parsley. That's a good mix for the chimichurri, so that looks about right. And then we'll give it the same chopping as we did with the cilantro.
All right, so now that we got the parsley and the cilantro in there, what's next?
Next up, we're gonna add some chopped up garlic.
Nice.
So about four cloves or so.
And then
Crushed red, yep.
red pepper flakes.
Crushed red pepper for a nice little kick.
Tell me when.
And just there you go, looks pretty good to me. We're gonna do a little lemon bay, again, to kind of bring out the flavor, make it extra special today.
I like your style.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And now we'll go with a really heavy pinch of salt. And lastly, we're gonna add our wet ingredients. So first up, I've got red wine vinegar, and you just wanna add enough just to make it a little bit wet. This is gonna add that nice tanginess to the chimichurri. And then finish it off with some olive oil. So just add plenty of it.
Tell me when to stop.
Keep going, keep going. Okay, looks pretty good.
So other than the steak, what other proteins would you use this with, or any other recipes?
Yeah, so this is great on pretty much any proteins. It's also great on chicken, pork. It's a awesome marinade for steak as well, because we're adding the red wine vinegar, which is gonna help get meat nice and tender. So super versatile, plus it can sit in the fridge for a little bit, so you can prep it ahead of time.
Nice. And how long does it last in the fridge, roughly?
I would say about a week or so, covered in the fridge. It's all pretty fresh ingredients, so.
Nice.
Okay, let's add a little bit more olive oil. I like it where it's a little bit more wet. Okay, yeah, that looks perfect. So you wanna see, I like to chop it all by hand because then you can see all the herbs, the garlic, the crushed red pepper, and it just looks so good. If you put this in a food processor or a blender, it just comes out too pasty. Right. And doesn't have the same nice effect.
Nice.
Steak has been on for about 30 minutes, so let's check the internal temperature and see how we are doing here. So I want to take this guy to about 115 internal.
All right, my friends, after about an hour, this is how we're looking, nice and low and slow. Basically the reverse sear method, right?
It is the reverse sear. It's a little pale looking right now because again, we just cooked it at that low temperature. So now we're gonna let this thing hang out here. We're gonna crank up the temperature on the grill and then sear it off to get this beautiful crust on the outside.
I can't wait. All right, guys, we have these jumbo shrimp that we got from Wegmans as well. Anytime you're dealing with frozen shrimp, you wanna make sure that they're nice and dry. These are peeled and needle deveined. So we're gonna go ahead and leave the tails on for controversy. Let me know in the comments if you remove your tails on your shrimp or if you leave them on. For today, we're gonna leave them on. Going down with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Just get in there with your hand, and start to massage that in. And then we're gonna go down with the dynamic duo of my all-purpose seasoning along with some lemon bay. Now, as always, guys, please feel free to use whatever your favorite all-purpose seasoning is or your favorite seafood seasoning. Old Bay will work here, Tony's Creole seasoning. Just a little salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder, whatever floats your boat. So we're gonna go ahead and season this up. Then we'll get it into the skillet to sear, and then we'll show you how to make that sauce. All right, guys, so in a skillet over medium heat, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of avocado oil. We're gonna let that basically coat the bottom of the skillet is what we're looking for here. You don't have to deep fry this. You just want a little bit of oil at the bottom. Then we're gonna lay the shrimp in. Try to make sure you got enough room for it to cook. You don't have to have it piping hot just yet. Let the heat build a little bit because we don't want to cook the shrimp all the way through. The shrimp is gonna finish cooking in the delicious sauce that we're gonna make. All right, guys, don't blink because this happens fast. Looking for a nice color on the other side. We're gonna flip them over. Give the other side a little love and affection, and then we're gonna remove the shrimp, probably about 75, 80% of the way done. Make that sauce. I like to cook the shrimp first because it starts to, release some of that shrimp flavor in the bottom of the skillet, which is gonna flavor our sauce we're about to make.
Shrimp smells so good on its own, just like that, with those seasonings and
yes, sir.
It's gonna be good.
All right, so at this point, guys, I'm gonna use a slotted spoon. I'm gonna take those shrimp out, place them on a sheet pan or a plate, whatever you got laying around. All that shrimp flavor at the bottom is gonna make for a fantastic garlic butter sauce. I killed the heat, that way, the pan doesn't get too hot, because the next ingredient that's gonna arrive to the party is 1 stick of butter. All right, so once the butter is mostly melted, we're going in with 1 diced shallot. We're gonna add that, start to let that cook a little bit. Then I'm going in with a whole head of roasted garlic. We're gonna squeeze the whole head in there. No flavor left behind. Just kind of mash it with the back of your spatula. It'll become one with the sauce. Next, we're gonna grate 1 lemon. Get us some lemon zest in there. So the thing I like about the zest is you get the flavor without the acidity. We're gonna do both though, because we need a little bit of acid. So we're gonna add some lemon juice as well. Then an optional ingredient that I really like, we're gonna add a few tablespoons of capers as well. Nice brininess to those. A little pinch of chicken bouillon powder to amplify the flavor a little bit. Some red pepper flakes to bring a little heat. Some parsley for some fresh herb flavor and some color. And then the last thing, you know I gotta add a little booze to the party. We're gonna go down with a little bit of dry white wine, just to kind of deglaze a little bit, and it's a good excuse to take a sip. So increase the heat. We're gonna add about a half cup of that. Increase the heat. Cheers, my friends. So this is how our sauce is looking. Doesn't get much better than that, guys. That's perfect for shrimp. You can throw some pasta in here if you want to. Spoon this over some chicken breast. All right, last but not least, we're gonna add our shrimp back to the sauce. Toss it around a little bit, let it finish cooking. You can taste for seasoning, hit it with a little bit more AP or salt and pepper if it needs it. Then we're gonna garnish with parsley and plate this up alongside that beautiful tomahawk that my good friend is about to sear off for us.
Cannot wait to try this shrimp. I'm excited for the steak, but the shrimp is smelling so good. All right, Matt's grabbing some stuff, so I gotta sneak one of these shrimp in because they are smelling so good. Wow. Yeah, this is it right here. This is proper. Our charcoal is nice and hot, so let's finish off the steak. We're gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm gonna drop it directly on the coals to get this caveman style sear. Look how hot that charcoal is. Ooh, just like that. So this is gonna impart a very unique flavor on our steak. We're cooking with lump charcoal, so this method is perfectly safe to do. It's an all-natural charcoal, burns super clean. So if you're gonna do it at home, be sure to use the right charcoal before you drop your meat on the coals. So we're only gonna go about 2 minutes per side, create this beautiful crust on the outside, and pull the steak off.
Wow, that smells good immediately.
It's so cool, I love doing it this way.
I've always wanted to try it like this.
Yeah, it's a unique way. It smells great, creates an awesome crust. You just gotta be sure the charcoal is super hot.
Funny.
Our steak is sliced up and it's looking pretty good. So the last finishing touch is we're gonna top it off with our delicious chimichurri, and check this thing out. Just pour a nice layer of it right over the steak. The herbs, the garlic, it complements the red meat so well. This is going to be delicious.
This is the part where we say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. That looks good.
Yeah, I'll put a little bit of it in here too.
Don't be shy. All right, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm starving. I'm ready to dig in for this taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, man.
Ooh.
Here goes nothing.
Cheers.
Need a chaser.
Let's go.